Transmissions from the satellite, light. Oh, really are. Don't speak to me now, don't speak to me now. This evil eyes and will guide us somehow. Just come on, Marie, come on, Marie, come on. Don't speak to me now, don't speak to me now. This evil eyes and will guide us somehow. Just come on, Marie,
All Lips Go Blue. That was Finland's Hymn. Oh man, I remember going into the Hot Topics and I forget the name of the song, but it was the Butterfly song by him. But they're out, they're going to be touring around this summer and fall around Eastern Europe. All kinds of tour dates posted, and it's not too difficult to read the language. You can tell what's September, what's July. Those tour dates if you go on their Facebook page. Still love those guys. Him. Anyway, we are just about ready to get villainous with you here on Fearless Radio. We're going to be talking with Mr. Agitator himself coming up in just a couple minutes, but I feel like it's time to get a little warmed up. This is Evolve or Die. Stick around. Tweet me questions, comments for Agitator here on Fearless.
Her awake for now. She burns with the deep pleasure of her own touch. Quenching her cocoon somehow seems so hard that she pulls the tighter she gets stuck. Well, she's running out of time now. If she can't break herself, she will fly and shrivel up. She learns how to move and she knows how to feel. She cannot escape what her body reveals. That she's closer, she's closer, she's closer to feeling alive. Her instincts drive her wild, her desire guides her. This voice of nature will make her move forward. How will I evolve or die? She yearned to evolve, but she learned to obey. Now she's focused on her own outlay, and she's coming, she's coming, she's coming, she's coming alive. Her instincts drive her wild, her desire guides her. How will I evolve or die? This voice of nature will make her move forward. How will I evolve or She wanted to know and she wanted to feel. Now she's closer to breaking her seal, and she opens, she opens, she opens, she opens her eyes.
Evolve or Die. Song title and words of wisdom from Mr. Agitator, and V is for Villains. And I am very happy to welcome Mr. Agitator himself to our program. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you?
We've survived this little storm down here. It was kind of crazy for a bit down near the lake, but But it's all
Really?
good now. Yeah. I think Texas.
I know the weather was not in our favor today. That's for sure.
No, it's getting better, but Texas is sending us some wet vibes here, I think. You know, they're suffering, so we're suffering now too.
Right. Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
we are very excited and have been talking about this for quite a while. Speaking of rain, we had a rather disastrous bout of storming and problems for our previously scheduled Vias for Villains show, but now better weather, better date. This Saturday night, the Villains are bringing their sounds to Motor Row.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I know we had this issue about a month ago where the plumbing burst in the venue,
Yes.
or something along those lines. We had to evacuate. We had to move the show back. And to be honest, I couldn't be happier about it.
Oh yeah.
I know some things it's just fortuitous, right? And I feel like that's going to give an opportunity for a lot more fans to come out and partake in this event.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be an incredible night. I just couldn't be more excited about it.
I can't wait. And if you wonder any of the details you want, you can check out both on the Vias for Villains Facebook page. You can go to Fearless Radio's homepage, and all the details, as well as the ability to buy tickets, are right there on the site. And yeah, it was, I'm trying to think. It was the storm came. They were working on our storm sewers on this block, and there was grit just made all of our plumbing back up. And I'm not going to go much further than that because the rest of it just gets gross.
Ew.
Ew. Rather than ew, I'm also, and I want to talk about Vias for Villains music in a minute, but the thing that I'm almost as excited about this as I am for the show, because I love parties, and we're going to have a tea party for the fans who have already signed up for the first go-round, but you can still get in on that. You can still get in on the tea party that's happening at 3 o'clock. Tell me some of the plans for that. I've been taking brainstorms for what kind of tea we want to have.
I'm really excited. I'm super excited about it. The thing with the tea party, it's something we've talked about for a while. I know that when we had the ability to relaunch the show at a later date, we were like, well, what can we do that would kind of make up for this? That would be a cool incentive. And we were like, let's have a little get-together. I love drinking tea. Anybody who wants to take over the world loves drinking tea.
Yes.
Every James Bond villain I know drinks tea. So it's like, I'm going to drink tea with all the fans, with us who want to drink tea, and that's a lot of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, tea.
Tea.
I don't know. I'm so excited about it, honestly. I know we're going to talk about the new album. We're going to talk about the new guild system we're going to be promoting for the band. We're going to have a point system and a game, an AR game that fans are going to be able to sign up for. They're going to be able to make their own character. They're going to be able to get rewards from the band, and they're going to be able to have this cool subterfuge game where they're going to be able to backstab and betray band members like us, and it's going to be so much fun, and we're totally into it because
Yeah.
don't do heroic stuff, do villainous stuff. So I'm totally into it. We're going to talk about stuff like that. I may bring a couple of cuts off the new album to play for them. It's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty exciting. But the thing that I like about it the most is that we're going to have some real, true one-on-one time.
Yeah.
And that's not something we get to do too often with the fans, and it's something they want a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to give them as much time at shows as we can. But, it's hectic. You're running back and forth always. Your sound checks and then lighting checks, and then, then you got to get into costume, and then you've got to get kind of into the mode before you go up there and you perform. So this is going to give us a chance to sit down with all of them and let them ask us questions and just be in a very relaxed environment. So I'm pretty stoked about it.
I am really excited about that, and since I'm going to be a minion that afternoon, I am also as a radio host looking forward to getting a first taste of New Villains music.
Nice.
before everybody
Welcome
else.
to the family.
I've had the pleasure of getting to know some of the people that you work with, some of the artists in the band. Sarah and Annalise, just amazing people, and I hadn't ever really gotten a chance to work with them before. Kind of run down, maybe I know not everybody is always at every show, but run down who is working with Villains right now.
Well, we have an initiative called Villains Incorporated, or Villains Inc. That allows musicians from across the country, we're staying nationally at the moment, obviously, but that allows musicians from across the country to sign up and participate in shows that they want to play, whether it's House of Blues, or whether it's Metro, or whether it's, Bob's Pub on the corner. We don't like to leave any stone unturned. Wherever there is a need for villainy, we will appear.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to give these people an opportunity. So, let's say you sign up for Villains Incorporated in Michigan, and you're out in Michigan, and we rehearse online for a couple of weeks. Then we go out and we do a show in Michigan, and you come jump on that show if you want. We have a completely interchangeable dynamic. I'm the singer-songwriter. I write the majority of the music, about 98% of it. I record it, I mix it, I master it.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves me very flexible in being able to assemble the best show based on the needs. So we've done a two-man show. Annalise and I did a two-man show one night out in Memphis. Just by a horrible twist of fate, none of the band members could make it. We ended up having to rehearse the show in the car on the way down there.
Wow.
We were like, we're just going to have to, we'll do it. But we did, and they loved it. We did 3 shows that weekend. We did one on Thursday night. We did one on Friday night. We did 2 on Saturday, something like that. I don't even know. But we did 3 shows, and it was awesome. And, that really taught me that the idea of the band and the idea of the music is stronger than its configuration. My brother, John, who is Fallon Flynn in the band, he went to Minneapolis, and he did the show without me. He did it as Mr. Agitator, and it still worked, and people had a good time. And I think that's the core of the band.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bigger than any one member, including myself, even though I'm the primary songwriter. I think it's just about spreading the music and, opening up avenues for people to express themselves creatively. So we try to build an artistic community for that. And we get to dress up in costumes and hit on hot ladies. So it's perfect.
It is perfect, and I wanted to talk about the costuming because when I was talking to Annalise, I finally got put 2 and 2 together, and that she has been working even before she was a villain. She was the costumer.
Yeah.
What I got to tell you, some of the most beautiful work I've ever seen, and I've worked backstage and things like that at theaters. And you can also get some of these one-of-a-kind pieces at a Vias for Villains show, which is not something that most musicians do. For you get T-shirts
right.
and knockoffs.
We try to offer a very dynamic product, and we try to offer different things. We've never been the band that says, "Hey, let's go do a show in jeans and T-shirts. Hey, let's sell, some posters or some CDs." We always try to be competitive in the sense that we let them tell us what they want.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody says, "I really want a mask like that," we'll make it. Somebody says, "I really want a costume piece," Annalise will make it for you. She is a true talent. She is a genuine talent. And I agree with what you were saying. Her story in the band is a very interesting tale. She wasn't in the band for the first 2 or 3 years. I had another member for a long time named Ava Weiss. She was in the band for about 8 months. She needed a costume. She hired Annalise to make her costume for her. And then Annalise ended up becoming a good friend. She ended up expressing the want and need to help with merch and things like that, but she came in as our merch girl.
Mm-hmm.
She ran merch for us for a while, so for the longest time, Annalise would be at the shows just running merch.
Yeah.
Then after that, she said, "Hey, I really want to give it a crack being in the band and expressing a female perspective, in this group that's strong and not just, based on, what modern music does or contemporary music does, like more of a dance angle. It was pretty exciting. I said, yeah, let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm very open to working with people. And she came in and she knocked it out of the park, and she's great, you know, and she gets stronger every show. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a very big fan of that dynamic. And Sarah has been with us for the last, year now, which
Mm-hmm.
is just incredible to think about.
It
And,
goes
you know,
quickly,
she's
doesn't
really
it?
talented and a really strong player.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And when you say it's like a music collective, it is an artist collective, because I feel like
Exactly.
the villains bring all kinds of different artistic perspective to the community, and you have a really strong community. I've been enjoying so much kind of talking with some of the fans and some of the people who join in with all of your events, whether it's shows or cons, and you guys are very active in that community as well. You just got done with a couple of Chicago ones, C2E2 and ASIN, and I wasn't
Right.
familiar with
Right.
ASIN. So what do you guys do with the cons?
Well, when we play conventions, when we do conventions that we're actually performing at, it's, you know, they have us come in, we entertain for the weekend. They'll usually book a show or two, a panel, stuff like that. And it is just such a blast. I love doing it. It's such a good way to connect with fans because we're there all weekend. And I like to be very accessible. And I agree with what you were saying. When I look at our villain fans, I see a community of some of the strongest and smartest people, you know, that I've ever seen in any artistic community. They band together. They take care of each other. We spread a message of villainy to an extent, but that's based on what the social perception of normal is.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of our members who are LGBT that believe in, you know, being and expressing who they feel like they are internally. And I am that person as well. I feel like it's important to express who you feel like you are on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just such a great creative force. And that, I can't take credit for that. That's all them.
Yeah.
You know? They're the ones who banded together. I just put the message out there. They're the ones who delivered it to each other. And I feel like, you know, like I said, I see such a strong community of thriving artists and musicians. And I'm so excited to see where it's going to go and what it's going to turn into. You
Mhm.
know, because we're still in infancy. We haven't even launched the real show we want to do. You know, this has all been poured together with glue and popsicle sticks so far. So we've got some plans for some huge stuff down the pipeline, and I see them being a very active participant, you know, and it's just exciting. So at the convention, we get a chance to really hang out on the floor. We get a chance to talk to them. You know, we get a chance to go see stuff that they want to see, or, you know, because I don't like to go to that stuff and just sit in my room all day. You know, I want to be on the floor. I want to talk to them. So it's that sort of nature. You're there sometimes 10 or 11 hours in costume on your feet
Mm-hmm.
a day. You know, we hit the floor, and like I said, we make sure to try to go to every event we can and talk to everybody we can, and then we go do the show.
Yeah.
And it's just such a blast.
It's you hit on something there, and you know, and before the C2E2, we were bringing in some of the champions of cosplay artists,
Nice.
and getting a chance to talk with them. And one of the things that not only do I notice, kind of not even being a cosplayer, but secretly, you know, I've got ideas. So, but looking at that community, one of the most accepting groups of people. There's no body type that's
Absolutely.
wrong, no age that's wrong.
Right.
Nothing is.
Right.
There's nothing you can't express and be accepted. And I think bringing a music
Right.
community into that is a brilliant idea and a really warm thing to do for people.
I appreciate that notion, and I honestly entirely appreciate the fact that our fan community has that level of support, enthusiasm, and intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, like I said, it was. I agree with you 100%. It was a beautiful symbiotic pairing. We ended up walking into this world that we didn't know anything about in terms of how do you book a convention, who
Yeah.
wants to talk to you. And the reality is we are an independent, unsigned act. Everything is self-funded.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is self-run. We don't have a guy with a pinstripe suit and a cigar going like, I'm going to make your voice famous. Like, it just doesn't exist.
Where did those guys go? You know?
I know. Where's the pinstripe guy?
Yeah.
I want him back.
Yeah.
But, like, we are that entity. We are passionate about everything we do. We believe in everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to connect with other people who understand that, you know, just means the world to me. Whenever I'm doing a show and I look down and I see, you know, fans like Darcy or, you know, Shani or, you know, Bert Boy or all of these wonderful people, I look down, I see them singing the words right back to us. It's just, you know, it touches you in a way you just could never believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the convention scene has been huge proponent of that. Ryan Compton, his Anime Midwest, being a huge supporter of the band for years. You know, he really gave us a good shot in a lot of these cons, and it paid off in a good way. You know, we definitely feel a thriving community and a real sense of brotherhood with these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always try to go the extra mile. Of course, to an extent, business is business from time to time.
Right.
But we always shake hands, play nice, and everybody has a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the key to all of it. And I think with the convention angle, I agree 100%. Those people just have a blast.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-day party for all of them. And I spent years in Digital Mindy doing the club circuit, you know,
Uh-huh.
doing tours, like U.S. tours, playing clubs, and to walk into conventions and to not even realize that this was a thing. You know, like, I'm a comic book fan myself. I always collected. I'm a big nerd. You know, a nerd enough to wear a costume and run around at night. But, like, I didn't realize that it was this strong and this prevalent. And when I walked into it, I was just like, yeah, this is definitely my world. This is where I need to be, you know.
There is that sense. I think the first one I went to, I took this picture of a multiple, you know, group of superheroes and animals and all kinds of things, and I'm like, I'm home. And it was just it was that sense of like, oh my God, these people are wonderful.
Right.
Why have I not figured this out before? And whether you dress up or don't dress up, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
It's just kind of the feel and the community, like you said. So let's get to this, because I want to hear a little bit more. I was kind of following along the Villains Guild, the brainstorming session that you guys are having with your community and fans right now. Tell us a little bit about that, because as I can see right off the bat, costume pieces are, you know, zooming ahead of other things, you know, in the poll.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really big for them, especially. We always like to give back as much as we can to that community, and we always like to encourage their participation and support. And I think when you're dealing with, okay, so like if you break it down on a basic level, what we are proposing is somewhat of a street team. Like, you know, this used to be something that I would hear a lot about back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hear bands in mass get together, you know, when I was running Digital Mindy, and they would say things like, well, why would I go promote when I can get some kid to do it for me? And that never really sat well with me. Like, I was just like, no. See, the reason this always falls apart and it always fails and doesn't work, I don't want to get somebody to, you know, some kid to go promote for me. I want to play a game with my friend. And I think that that's the big difference. We're all equals. Nobody is working for me. We're all working together, you know, to spread a common idea and a common thread. If we can make a point system fit, if we can lead a game to some extent, if we can reward them for their loyalty and their service and their dedication, then why not, you know? Then it's all the more fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like, hey, you helped me sell 1,000 tickets, kid, here's a button. You know? Like, that's not the kind of thing I want to do. And I see a much deeper, intricate system to this spawning one day, with people becoming fully deputized agents of the villains, where we're going to have them out there helping us sell merch and maybe making profit doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I see there being a really long level. This is just an entry-level test. And I think it's going to go really well, and I'm excited about it. I'm just interested to see what narrative and what game these people make with us and that they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I feel like games in society and in culture are so important and specific and needed for development. Like, we need that kind of creative outlet. I feel like, you know, conventions, all of this stuff is just a cry from society to say, I don't want to wear a suit my boss tells me I have to,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to be a slave to the system that I don't really believe in.
Right.
You know, I want to express myself, and I want to feel free. And I think that that's the response. But society likes to condemn people for doing that and feeling that way. And that's never sat well with me. So I'm excited to see how this game reflects those ideas and finding a non-intrusive way to maybe make some change or some difference and have fun doing it.
Yeah. I think we work so much harder now, and we work, you know, longer hours, and
Yeah.
and it's just, you know, to be honest, it's just survival sometimes. But that makes
Right.
the intensity of our experiences, when we can have some enjoyment and when we can make some of those connections, all that much more important, and all that much. I can't tell you, Mr. Agitator, how many musicians I talk with who mourn the loss of street teams. And it wasn't just about having some other kid hand out your CD. It was being outside
Love
on
that.
cold winter nights, you know, huddled together, talking with fans that you see all over the city, you know, at different shows.
And that's the right.
Yeah.
That is the absolute right attitude. That's the right nature of it. That's what it should be.
It was that, again, going back to that word, it was that community. You knew who was going to be at a show, and you knew they'd like this new
Exactly.
music that you're talking about, and, you know,
Exactly.
it was...
It's so hard to convince people to go to shows sometimes. You know? It's just the climate of the beast right now. Like, there's always this big hesitation, like, oh, I'll watch it when it streams, or, you know.
No, come
Like,
to
no,
shows.
no, it's not the same.
It's the experience, kids. I can guarantee you that. It's the you go when you when you get older, and I'm telling you this from a perspective who knows. You don't only remember the CDs that you collected, but you do remember the CDs and the night that you saw them, or the 10 nights that you spent, you know, watching them, and the friends that you've made along the way doing this.
Absolutely. It is magic. It's magic akin to seeing a film on the silver screen where you're just, you know, it connects with you and it makes you feel that emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree 100%, and I think sometimes that gets lost in today's culture. I think there's some things that actually make it better. I think there's some things that enhance that idea, but I see a lot of loss there too. And it's just like, man, like you want to explain to everybody, like, this is not even just about the band, it's about the community, and it's about everybody that you're going to meet that's going to affect you,
Mm-hmm.
to impact you, you know?
Yeah.
It's just intense.
It stays with you. It stays with you. CDs are going to be tossed out, you know, used as coasters sometimes, even the good ones, even the good ones.
Right.
But the experiences are the thing that you carry with you always. Well, you know,
Absolutely.
obviously Saturday night and Saturday afternoon for the Tea Partiers, that's coming up. But what's next for V is for Villains? What does the summer look like? Plans as you pull kind of these ideas together. Do you have anything else live performance-wise going on?
We're going to be doing a show at The Wire in Berlin.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be June 26th. It's going to be an all-ages show. We're going to be doing that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited about that one. And we're going to be doing Anime Midwest in Rosemont, July 4th, like that weekend.
I've had that
we're
highly
talking
recommended.
right now about... What's that?
I had that highly recommended to me, by the way. That I've not
Oh,
heard of it
you
or
have
seen
to
it.
go.
Yeah.
You have to go. It's just fantastic. It's an incredible weekend. It's a great con. I mean, everybody has so much fun, and the community is that tight-knit community we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a con I always look forward to playing. It's a con I highly enjoy, not just as a musician and a performer, but as a con goer now. So I think it's definitely one to check out. It's definitely one to see. So I'm pretty excited about that guy. But then we've got we're working on a new album right now. We're writing Murder in the Art, which is a follow-up to Evolve or Die, which was released in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Our projected date for that is Halloween this year. And couldn't be more excited about it. I feel like it's the first work that I've written for V is for Villains, specifically all the way through. The first album, half of it was written for Digital Mindy, and when I wrote it, I walked away and said, like, this doesn't feel like Digital Mindy anymore, and that's when I started the next band.
Mm-hmm.
So I started Villains. So this is the first work that I feel like expressive and completely embodies what V is for Villains is to me right now. There's an incredible story about time travel in it. It's going to allow us the opportunity to play 2 or 3 different versions of the show on any given night. Like, you'll come see the show one night, and our props and our costumes will be post-apocalyptic, and then you'll come see it the next night, and it'll be totalitarian, and the songs will have a different flavor, representing alternate timelines and different decision-making and time travel. We will do a classic show where we play in our old costumes and all that stuff. So there's some really big changes coming, and I'm excited for it. I think it's definitely going to take the band out of the popsicle stick and glue phase and into the well-oiled machine phase, and I'm just so excited about it.
That all sounds fantastic, and I was looking through and thinking about because Fearless Radio, we've been kind of partners in this since. I mean, Digital Mindy was played in the early days of Fearless Radio, and you kind of were talking about, hey, I've got this new thing I'm thinking about, and the first V is for Villains round back in the day. It's been an awesome journey, and we're really excited to see the next phase as well.
I appreciate that, and you know what? We appreciate all the help Fearless Radio has given us over the years. We've always been big listeners. We've always loved the station. And it absolutely, completely touches me that when, at a period when I was a kid, so I started Digital Mindy when I was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, you guys played me when nobody else really would so much. So, that means a lot to me, and that eventually led to my deals with MTV, Viacom, and all that stuff. So we absolutely remember all of that, and we love Fearless Radio.
Well, it is a mutual love society then, Mr. Agitator. So, so Saturday night, come on out. It's all ages. And you have some special guests. Unfortunately, Fantastic Mammals couldn't join us for this revised date. We're working on them with something else. But tell us about your special guests who are playing the show.
So Sinister Fate is going to be joining us. Sinister Fate. They're incredible. They're a good band. We've played with them for a long time. They actually played with us back in Digital Mindy a few times.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to finally reunite them with the for Villains. I think our fans will have a lot of fun with their show. I think it'll be a good pairing for the night. So I couldn't be more excited to have them on the bill. And as people, they're just great people and just super involved in the music scene. And they've always played, and they've always been really enthusiastic. So I couldn't be more excited to have them to work with, for sure.
Well, and by the way, just in case you're listening and you haven't heard Sinister Fate, or you want to hear them chat with me and play a couple of tracks, 2 o'clock on Thursday, they're going to be talking with Fearless Radio as well. So we're going to be promoting the heck out of this thing and giving you a little inside baseball on the bands on the bill for our show on Saturday. 3 o'clock tea party, get your tickets now. I really want to see, I want to get a chance to meet and serve you some tea, minions. Yay. This would be a pleasure for me. So, Mr. Agitator, thank you so much for taking time out to talk with us today.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine.
And, stick around. We've got an all day of Chicago music to start your summer. Tune in on Thursday for Sinister Fate at 2 o'clock. I feel like we've got another track. I feel like Everybody Hates Me would be a great track to take it out with.
Oh, Everybody Hates Me.
Everybody Hates Me. Mr. Agitator, V is for Villains. Check them out. Linked up on Fearless Radio's homepage. We'll be back in just a little bit. Enjoy.
You have to give them what they want, make them adore you. You have to give them what they want or they'll ignore you. We want your attention. We have no good intentions. We want your desire. cannot let them in your heart. You have to keep them out, or else they will just tear you apart. Inside I know I please no one, and everybody hates me. I can't enjoy the simple things, 'cause I'm afraid that you'll betray me. My fame will find a purpose, and everybody hates me. I can't enjoy the simple things, 'cause I'm afraid that everyone hates me. I loved you, you hurt me. Now what have we become? I need you, I miss you. Oh, what have we become?
Everybody Hates Me. That's one of my favorite off of the last album from Vias for Villains. And I am really getting excited for this new music to come. And if you are heading out to the tea party, the pre-show tea party at 3 o'clock this Saturday, you're going to get a chance to hear this music before anybody else does. And we are having the tea party in the gorgeous Fearless Loft down on South Michigan Avenue. We're right over by McCormick Place. It's going to be a beautiful day, and you can get ready for the party that night. Vias for Villains and Sinister Fate playing that show. All ages. So let's do this. I got brand new Hollywood Undead for you right here, and stick around. Our day of Chicago music, our return to the radio after a nice long weekend of Summer Camp Music Festival, Memorial Day commemorations and celebrations. They just, launched me fully into the summer spirit. And I know Peyton and Alex are going to return with pictures, reviews, write-ups, music recommendations, all of that. Peyton will be on 6 to 8. Peyton